Raj Kamal Jha, when a reporter is arrested under a law meant for terrorists.
A functional and healthy democracy must encourage the development of journalism as an institution that can ask difficult questions to the establishment.
The court has kept pushing back at the state to expand our freedoms.
The Ramnath Goenka Excellence in Journalism Awards was the first event in 3 years, ever since the COVID pandemic began. CJI Chandrachud, as chief guest, had a lot to say on journalism as a beacon of truth. At the event of the Ramnath Goenka Excellence in Journalism Awards, the event opened with a speech by Indian Express editor-in-chief Raj Kamal Jha. The court has kept pushing back at the state to expand our freedoms. That's why when the lights dim, when a reporter is arrested under a law meant for terrorists. When Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud spoke, he said, the press must remain free if the country has to remain a democracy.
After he said this, Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur walked into the auditorium. A netizen commented, faces of Ats Prasad or at Anurag Thakur were worth having a look at. Wish our Law Minister at Kiran Rijiju could have also graced the occasion. There is lot riding on Honorable SC Judge Dhananjay Y. Chandrachud, and it's not just in the present that deprived, marginalized, victimized, socially or economically targeted are looking up to him as their North Star. It's also the future, where we Indians as a whole want to live a fearless, prosperous, loving life. Which we still know is the Indian way of living. Our star has to fight harder than all of us combined. His resistance to injustice and arbitrariness might need our backing. We Indians have got your back. The winners for 2020 were announced today, while the winners in 2019, who never had their own ceremony, were handed their awards too. In total, 37 stories across 27 newsrooms took home trophies. The ceremony started with a short video about Indian Express founder Ramnath Goenka. Of course, it also started with Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about Goenka. It featured clips from dynamos like Amit Shah, Arun Jaitley, Venkaiah Naidu, Bill Gates and Kuldeep Nair praising Goenka and his legacy. CJI Chandrachud's speech highlighted the challenges and opportunities facing journalism today. He talked about how journalism contributed to developments in the Hathras case, identifying administrative loopholes during COVID, the migrant exodus during the lockdown, and unraveling India's Me Too movement. He told the audience journalism is the beacon of truth that drives us to a better tomorrow, and the engine that drives democracy forward. As we gravitate towards the challenges of the digital age, he added, it's more important than ever for journalists to maintain standards of impartiality. These challenges include fake news and media trials, and also the media industry's appalling lack of diversity. Fake news poses a serious threat to society, the CJI said. He also said fake news has the potential to create tensions between communities, which is why it's important to fix the gap between truth and lie. The CJI shared his memories of the emergency. He had been 15 years at the time and said Indian Express's blank page in lieu of an editorial was a defining moment. He added that fearful times give rise to fearless journalists, like Ramnath Goenka. Finally, CJI Chandrachud said journalists and lawyers or judges, in his case, do have some things in common. Both professions are fierce believers that the pen is mightier than the sword, but they also share the occupational hazard of being disliked by the virtue of their professions, which is not an easy cross to bear, he said.
A functional and healthy democracy must encourage the development of journalism as an institution that can ask difficult questions to the establishment. As it is commonly known, speak truth to power. The vibrancy of any democracy is compromised when the press is prevented from doing exactly this. The press must remain free if a country is to remain a democracy. I too, myself, find myself disagreeing with many journalists. After all, who amongst us agrees with all other people? But disagreement must not distort into hatred, and hatred must not be permitted to evolve into violence. It is also proving to be a challenge for journalists to penetrate the echo chambers that social media has created and to still illuminate the truth.
Fireball politicians such as Manish Tiwari, Anurag Thakur, Kapil Sibal, Sanjay Singh, Sanjay Jaiswal and Derek O'Brien graced the occasion. Indian Express editor-in-chief Raj Kamal Jha light-heartedly joked during his vote of thanks, "We have the privilege of the presence of the Honorable Chief Justice. And there is absolutely nothing in a sealed cover. This is a vote of thanks, but in the times we live in, I want to say there will be no vote, there will just be thanks here." Raj Kamal Jha said he affirms our faith that the Supreme Court will remain the North Star, a hat tip to the CJI using the same turn of phrase during a speech in January.
The court has kept pushing back at the state to expand our freedoms. That's why, when the lights dim, when a reporter is arrested under a law meant for terrorists, when another is arrested for asking a question, when a university teacher is picked up for sharing a cartoon, a college student for a speech, a film star for a comment, or when a rejoinder to a story comes in the form of a police FIR, we turn to the North Star for its guiding light.